Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right. So, Chris, yesterday, when we found out, everybody was watching, we found out that Cloverfield Paradox, which used to be called Cloverfield Station, maybe, whatever, we don't know. We heard rumblings that Netflix was going to purchase it so it could be on a Netflix original on Netflix. Before it was supposed to come out, I guess, in April, right?
Yeah.
I think it was in April. I got so excited because I'm like, oh my God, I have Netflix. I could watch this tonight. So did some casts, and then I'm like, I forgot about it a little bit. Then I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm going to watch this before I go to bed because I want to see it. So I watched it in the wee hours in the morning, and I think I might have said something at like 2 in the morning. I don't even know what the hell time was. I went into it with, I guess my expectations were low because I felt, okay, if it's going on Netflix instead of a movie, maybe it might be bad, or maybe it might not be that good, or, for whatever reason, why would a major motion picture just like hold off the release of a movie and give it to Netflix? But I got to tell you, this is like one of my favorite movies so far, 2018. I really loved it, actually. And I was shocked that I did. I really loved it, from the characters, the score, special effects, everything about it. And maybe it's because I love, space movies and time and space and dimensions. And I don't know, maybe that's why. I don't know. But I really enjoyed it. What do you think, Chris?
Well, this is my thing. And this is why I'm really upset.
Okay.
With this movie.
Hang on.
I really, really liked it.
Okay.
I really liked it. I was into it. I was like, okay, this is cool. I like the concept. We're getting a throwback to Cloverfield, which is what I've kind of been waiting for a while.
Yes.
Let's get some stuff. And
this is spoilers, by the way. Spoilers, everybody. Yeah. We're spoiling it, so good.
Yeah, and they said it. They said it in the trailer. 10 years ago, something found us, which is how the TV spot said something has found us in the old Cloverfield. And I was into it, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. They're heading back to Earth with the damn equation and the thing that they need for the Shepard particle accelerator. And then it hit the floor.
Really? Wow. Just the opposite for me, but go ahead.
And then this is where I knew. I didn't know just yet, but looking back, I can pinpoint the how it was like, oh no, it's been ruined.
Really? Ruined for you?
Yes, completely.
Wow!
Completely. Not just this movie, but Cloverfield in general.
Oh my God!
Been ruined for me.
Wow.
So when Ava's husband is yelling into the cell phone,
right?
Tell them not to come back. Tell them not to come back.
I love that. I got so excited.
Terrible.
I got so excited. That. Really?
His performance there just like went out the window.
Well, first of all, these actors are not.
No, I know that's not it though. That's not what ruined it for me. What ruined it for me was that Clover coming up through the clouds.
Didn't you see this as a Twilight Zone type ending where everything you think is going good and it's totally like that ending that shocks the crap out of you and like, oh my God, they screwed things up so bad that they caused this?
Yes, and I would have been okay with that, but my issue with this is this movie doesn't fit into the timeline of the first movie. At all.
But here's the reasoning behind it, though. If I think I know what they're talking about. There's a guy in the beginning that wrote this book, right? And he basically believed, his theory was that this device has never been this powerful, particle Shepard. What is a Shepard particle accelerator, right?
The Shepard particle accelerator, yeah.
Right. he said by using this thing over and over and over again, you're going to create a rip in time, space, dimensions that's going to not only continue on our universe, but other universes, other dimensions, in other words, like they create a ripple that maybe the universe isn't as solid as we think. Like you could cause serious damage to universes. So in other words, not only would the present be affected, but in some dimensions, the past or the future. So my whole thing from that was, oh, they're saying that by doing this, that another Earth that is basically set, what, in the 80s or 90s or whatever, that's Cloverfield, the first movie, they caused that on that Earth. They caused the creatures.
But that's not what happened, though, in the first Cloverfield.
Okay.
That's literally not what, and this is my issue with the.
But didn't the creature come out of something in the water or the ocean?
It came from them drilling in the original marketing. Tegruado, which is the company that basically caused all of this, was drilling near the eastern seaboard of the United States,
right,
for oil. Is what they said. But what really happened was they found the Cloverfield monster there with the parasites all over it. And because they started studying it and whatnot, they accidentally woke it up. It attacked the Chuai station. And then it followed an oil tanker to New York, where we see the oil tanker get capsized, and then the Cloverfield monster attacks.
But isn't this event basically that the monster manifested there, and even though yes they're drilling, and even though whatever, the creature was never there, it was put there because of a rip in the fabric of the dimensions and stuff.
But
just
that's not what J.J. Abrams said originally.
Yeah, I know, but they always
originally lie, he said that it's been down there for like 10,000 years.
Well, maybe could it be okay? So here's the thing: couldn't it be possible, because they said it happened in the past? Couldn't it be possible that a monster was transported 10,000 years ago because of the ripples in each reality? That in this reality, the monster was sent 10,000 years in the past and just was laid dormant there?
It's possible, but I still think that's a really stupid thing to add to the first Cloverfield storyline, because it was already complicated enough. Well, and the way that they're pushing this movie, they're selling it like this is the same timeline. But which it's clearly not. But
but here's the thing that I get, and this is like a movie that you could talk about in numerous casts. They're really making you think with this movie. Like when they thought they zapped the Earth, right, and that the Earth was gone, right. When they looked at their instruments, they saw, like, say Earth was here, right.
Yeah.
They saw Earth on the completely other side, whatever, right, because it revolves around the sun or whatever. They thought that they were knocked out. It wasn't. That Earth in that universe was part of that revolution around the Earth, but over in that location. So it was another Earth, right? Because supposedly no space can occupy at the same time or whatever. So maybe it was a thing where what I got from this, because this has got to be really deep, complicated, figuring your brain out stuff. My whole thing was that, no Earth could be in the same exact space, even in all realities, at the same time. Like, in other words, Universe A, the Earth is here. Universe B, the Earth is here. Universe C, the Earth is here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a wheel, right? And then Universe A could be 2028. Universe B could be 1980. Universe C could be 1942, right? And it's just weird because they don't line up, like, linearly, like, together.
Yeah.
So in other words, it could be a thing where Universe A, 2028, Universe B, 2028, Universe C could be like 10,000 years in the past. But this ripple is still happening in each reality. So in essence, it would create, even though J.J. Abrams had said it was a certain way, it would put the monster there 10,000 years in the past because there's probably a universe where there are all monsters on planets, and there's no like intelligent life. Maybe it's just, whatever, like a whole universe of monsters on planets, or a whole universe of demons, or whatever. So to me, that's what, like, I'm trying to piece it together, because we don't really know. I don't really know what the real thing is until we find out of the movies, right?
But we're not going to. That's the thing.
What do you mean?
We're not going to, because they literally can't have another one of these movies, which is another reason why I hate this one. Is what's the next one going to be about? Do you realize that Clover at the end of this movie was over 5,000 feet tall?
Right.
How are you going to fight a 5,000 foot tall monster?
They're not. The Earth's going to be destroyed.
Exactly. So that's gone.
Now, did he eat her at the end? Was she falling? And did he swallow her or no? Was that
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they kind of came down in the background, and then this thing came up. My issue too was, and I'm not the only one that thinks this. And
I know
the critical reaction to this movie has not been good at all.
Right. Okay.
This felt very shoehorned in. Like this whole Cloverfield monster thing. It felt very like, oh, we got to make this a Cloverfield movie somehow. Let's put the monster into it. My issue is that if they're going to market this movie as this is why the Cloverfield monster attacked, it's really not. This is like another version of why the Cloverfield monster attacked, but we know why the first Cloverfield monster attacked. That wasn't a question. The question was like, what is it? And now they've done a complete like 180. Where they're like, it's from Earth. Well, okay, it is from Earth, but it's actually like another dimension Earth. And this was just not this was not the story that the first one set out to tell. And I'm very disappointed with this movie because it had so much potential, and then it was like, we got to make it a Cloverfield movie somehow. So here's the monster.
So you don't think this was a Cloverfield movie to begin with at all?
I don't think it was. I honestly think this was like The Cellar, which apparently wasn't a Cloverfield movie either.
Right.
And now it is. And to be honest with you, 10 Cloverfield Lane is like the outlier in all of this, because those aliens are not they're not part of Clover. They're not connected to Clover. So they must have been affected by that Earth must have also been affected by the Shepard particle accelerator.
Yes.
Because they said they saw a red flash, and then all these aliens came through. So my theory about it is that universe was affected, and another universe was affected, and these aliens came through from another universe, and they're like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
And they just invaded the first planet that they saw, which was Earth, and I'm assuming that's what they're trying to say here. And I think this is going to go in a very, very confusing direction.
Right.
Because now the fourth one is apparently coming out at the end of this year.
Yes.
And it has to do with Nazi zombies.
But they mentioned something towards the effect, right, in this movie about, like, Germany, and they said something about, didn't they say?
Though they said that Germany was preparing to go to war with Russia because of they're running out, because the Earth running out of like oil and energy.
But wasn't that like a thing that they probably put in? Or you don't think that's at all?
I mean, it's possible, but the next one's supposed to take place during World War II.
And zombies.
So I mean, it's. I just don't know. I'm just not like, at this point. I just don't even care anymore about Cloverfield.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And for me, I enjoyed it because I like movies where it's complicated, and you gotta like it creates discussion, and it's like, wow, maybe this happened, because the thought of them affecting, like, I don't know if it's every reality, but like tons of Earths because of this one event, right?
Yeah.
And now, I don't know if you caught it, but the fact that she gave the diagram for Cloverfield Station to that lady, her version on that Earth, that's going to create even more.
No, it's not, though.
Oh, no?
No, because she gave her the completed version of it.
Okay.
So they can get it right. So basically, they're most likely going to get it right. and it's not going to cause an issue.
So that Earth, you don't think is going to have any problems because of this thing? Like, you don't think monsters are going to appear on that Earth?
No, I don't. I would be very surprised, and I think what they should have done in this movie was actually show that this is a separate one, like that the Prime Earth for this movie is in a separate timeline than the original Cloverfield, because I think there's a lot of people who think that this is the same.
No, it's a different timeline. I knew that, though. But you think?
But there's a lot of people who don't know that.
Yeah, I know. They got to explain. They don't want to explain. Right? They don't want to explain.
They have to. Well, what they should have done, and this I think would have been a very cool kind of Easter egg for people who remember Cloverfield. I think what they should have done was show Rob and Beth escaping New York and not getting hit by the bomb that they dropped at the end of Cloverfield. Right. Because that right there would have been a perfect indication, like, this is not the same timeline.
Okay. Now, was there any characters from any other movies in this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the first Cloverfield, Rob was the main character, and he was looking for his girlfriend Beth when the monster was attacking.
Right.
What they should have done was, when Ava's husband was, maybe when he found Molly or at some point in the movie, I think it would have been cool to see Rob and Beth still together, like they were still a couple, because in that movie,
Molly
at the beginning, they were broken up. No, she's not.
Okay.
Well, what I'm saying is, you could have seen Rob and Beth together escaping New York or something, and then that would have been like, wait a minute, that didn't happen in the first one.
So we didn't see Rob and Beth in this movie, period. Right.
Well, apparently, if this was quote-unquote the same timeline, which it wasn't, they were killed when they killed the original Cloverfield monster.
Right. But there was nobody else that showed up from any other movie in this movie.
Well, here's the weird thing about it is that the guy who was saying, you got to read my book because I know what's going to happen, he apparently has the same last name as John Goodman's character from 10 Cloverfield Lane. Stambler, apparently. His name is Stambler.
So is he the son?
I don't know. If it's a different timeline, it's possible. It might be the same character, just different because it's a different timeline.
Right.
So I mean, who knows? But
that really confuses things. Then, yeah.
It does. And my issue is that this movie had a lot of good ideas. The problem was they explained some of them really well, but other ones they were just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about the woman was her best friend in that universe. Now, did this Cloverfield destroy the other Cloverfield station? Because
I guess it replaced it, and that's why she ended up in the wall.
Right, because she was there in that universe, and then it got destroyed, and we saw the stuff go into the Earth. Yeah. And they're like, how could that? We're on the station. How could that happen? So, in other words, she wound up on our Cloverfield station. Well, whatever we want to call it, but I'm calling it Cloverfield.
No, that was it. It was actually called the Cloverfield Station.
Right.
Yeah.
So they ended up on Clover Station, but see, this thing also reminded me too of like a Star Trek episode, because there was a Star Trek episode where the person there was it's hard to explain. I don't know if you've seen the episode. You probably didn't. But
probably not. No.
There was a thing where with Voyager ship, they had the whole crew, and there was an accident where they were there was another universe of them. That time was the same exact up until a point, and one where the ship was almost destroyed but badly damaged, another one where the ship was not affected.
Right.
And one universe was going to survive, and they had to fix the thing because they both wanted both of them to survive. So on one ship, the main helmsman died, and a baby died, and on the other ship it didn't. Now, the good ship that was wound up, something happened, and the good ship was going to be destroyed, even though it was in better condition than the crappy ship. So they transported the helmsman and the baby that lived onto the other ship, knowing that reality be destroyed. So in other words, they have another reality of that character, but on that ship. It's kind of complicated.
Right.
So I was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, this is like that episode where if she went to Earth, she would encounter herself with the kid and the husband, but she shouldn't do that because it's not her Earth. Which, that's what the other guy probably said too. Like, it's not yours, And that, I think, just by them being there causes also a disruption too. Because there shouldn't be two of them in that universe.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, that would cause a massive problem. Like, just because two of the same person can't exist in the same universe. That would really cause whatever would happen, like dimensions, things falling apart, walls. So they would have to get out of there,
Mm-hmm.
But, and they did get out of there. But the thing is that I'm trying to piece together. So, in other words, they created all these problems for this Earth and many other Earths. Not all, probably, right? Because it's infinitesimal, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be all of them. I think it would probably just be the ones that we're getting Cloverfield movies for.
I mean, it could be 100, let's say, out of a quadrillion, right?
Yeah.
Because the ripple eventually would fade to no ripple. Like, it would, if it was like a stream that you threw a rock in, eventually it just simmers. Just flatlines like to normal.
Well, it's possible that in another universe, maybe that, let's say there's another universe that we didn't see where there's a Cloverfield station, and they do the same thing, but let's say it has the opposite effect and it cancels it out, I guess, because in nature there's always an opposite reaction.
Right.
So, I mean...
So, in other words, there's no way to fix this right now. This Earth and a whole bunch of Earths are going to be affected.
Yeah.
Unless that Earth rebuilds a new station, that particular Earth, and does it again.
I'm this is just me speculating, but what I'm saying is let's say in another universe they build a Cloverfield station and they run the test and something goes wrong or something. It could have an opposite effect where it cancels out this other one, because if there's infinite universes, that means there's infinite possibilities. So I mean, it is possible. I'm just saying I don't think it's affecting all of reality. I think it's affecting certain ones, but not all of it. Right,
because that would be destroying every damn universe there is, and that wouldn't make any sense. Because after a while, the storm would settle. Whatever type of thing they created.
Yeah.
Some Earths will be more affected than others. Others will be on small scale.
Yeah.
But I think that they did this movie to basically create the universe, to explain, in this one we have zombies in World War II. Oh, in this one we have demons coming out of the Vatican, or whatever they're going to do. They basically, with this movie, created their own Twilight Zone, their own thing.
Right. This was the ground zero of Cloverfield, of the Cloverfield universe. My issue is this is not what was meant to be when they first set out to do this.
Right.
And I know that because it's what J.J. Abrams said about what he was trying to accomplish. And it's really frustrating to me because what he wants to accomplish is something that I would love. And it's just not going to happen anymore because of this movie. And it's just now they're doing this whole universe thing. And it's I just don't care.
Right.
This movie could have been, it still could have been ground zero for this, but don't put Clover in it. This monster didn't have to be in this movie. And I'm just trying to figure out
But that monster was a different monster though.
It had to be.
Right.
It had to be a full-grown Clover, or at least one that was.
So that was a full-grown one.
Something near that.
Same creature, but just fully grown.
No. A different one altogether. Same species, just a different one, because the original Cloverfield monster was a baby.
Right.
And it was suffering from separation anxiety, which is why it attacked New York.
So this thing was so tall that it was in the clouds.
Yeah. Now, we don't know what cloud layer that was, but the lowest cloud layer is about 5,000 feet, I think, from the ground, if I'm remembering that correctly.
So he would destroy the whole Earth. There's no way.
Well, especially if there's multiple ones, which this didn't make sense to me either. They got the guy on the phone telling Ava's husband, "Yeah, go get your wife. It's okay."
And he's lying to them until yeah.
How does that make it?
I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is that, like in the original timeline, there was a Cloverfield monster in New York. It was killed because part of the movie when he goes into the bunker with the girl and it starts to shake really violently, I think that was the hammer down protocol that they said killed the monster in the first one.
Okay.
So maybe there was an infant Clover that attacked New York. It was killed, and maybe New York is okay.
So this could be the same universe, in other words, like that Clover did attack New York and got rebuilt after like 20 years.
Well, this is what's getting confusing. It's like if the exact same events happened, is it possible that it's the same universe?
It can't be the same universe.
It can't. It just doesn't make sense.
It can't, because the thing is, it's not time travel back into that universe. Like, again, I could be 100% wrong, right? Yeah. But what I got was when they said things in the past and things in the future, they're not talking about the same universe. I'm using my pens as an example, right?
Yeah.
This is the universe from the Cloverfield station, whatever, right? When they created that thing, Universe B could have a problem in 1942 or 44, right?
Right.
And Universe 3 could be in 1980 or 1990. But there's no way that particle accelerator should be able to do something in the past to affect the timeline with it the ship could be altered in the first place. I don't think. I mean, I don't think that's how it works, but I could be wrong.
And this is my problem, is that they didn't explain it as well as they should have. If you're gonna have a complicated story like this, you need to take the time to I'm not saying lay everything out like completely, but give the audience enough to be like, yes, this is happening here, this is happening here. Because if what they're trying to say, in the marketing anyway, if they're saying that this is part of the same timeline as the first one, then this movie would have had to take place in 2008. And that just doesn't make sense.
So they're never going to make a sequel to Cloverfield Paradox to explain anything.
I think they're technically all sequels.
But they're not going to they're not going to revisit the after effects of this universe.
I just don't see how you can, because like you're going to have a movie where they're fighting like 5,000-foot monsters, like how?
Right. Right.
Unless you introduce other monsters.
Unless you introduce other universes that use the same effect, but wouldn't they make it worse?
I don't know. Unless unless they're planning some sort of like crossover movie where the aliens from 10 Cloverfield Lane somehow get involved with this and they start fighting the Clovers, which I think would personally be a mess, but
that would be good too, because it would be like, okay, the balance was upset, and you have an all chaos movie. Yeah. Like maybe that affected them because it messed up their planet, and they got a beacon that it came from Earth that caused the situation. So they said, well, let's just destroy the Earth because they put the monster there. But only the aliens don't know it was from another reality, because maybe they don't know about that. So that's why they attacked the Earth. That would be great. You know?
I mean, I guess they could do that, because they could make a sequel to. I mean, I shouldn't say they can't make a sequel to Cloverfield Paradox, because anything's possible. But I just
think they're all connected now. Totally. With this movie, I think it connected every single aspect of one and two.
I think it did too. I think it did too. I just think that they needed to do a better job explaining that this is not the same timeline as Cloverfield, because with the way things are in this movie, if you showed this to somebody and you didn't explain it, I personally, if it was me, I would have walked out of there being like, this is the same timeline.
Well, see, the reason why I loved it is because I honestly, I don't know, for some reason, I think, okay, they did something to connect the first movie, right? I'm thinking that in a future movie, they're definitely going to do this. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm excited because I think there's got to be a way that they can intricately even more connected. There's going to be mentioning other things. You don't really think, you think they're just going to make money, they don't give a crap.
Well, here's the problem. This next one better do pretty good, because this one's not.
Are you sure? Because
Yes.
I know a lot of people that went to watch this movie on Netflix just because it was a shock.
Look at the scores. It's getting.
Yeah.
It's getting ripped to pieces right now. Anyway,
I mean, it
that
might
could
get.
change,
Here's the thing:
but
it might get, the scores may get ripped to pieces, but the viewership, like, okay, I didn't see the movie Bright, right?
Mhm.
But, and I guess most of the people don't like it, right? Or some people like, right?
It's it's mixed reactions. Bright was fantastic. If you're gonna go watch anything, go watch that over this.
But the thing is, though, it got so many people watching it that they made a sequel instantly, right? So I honestly think that's going to happen with Cloverfield. I think a lot of people went to watch this movie last night, and when the numbers come in that like they're going to say like 20 million people watched it or something, it's going to be like, all right, Cloverfield 7, 8, 9, like it's going to. Here you go.
I'll give you an example, right? I'm part of like a group on Facebook that like the whole basis is like Godzilla and movie monsters and whatnot.
Right.
About 80% of them hated this movie.
Wow.
Even the head of the group was like, "This was terrible."
Wow.
Like this was
awful. Is it wrong for me to like this movie?
No, of course not.
I really love it though. I'm like trying to find reasons not to, but I really loved it. I don't know what it was. It just, to me, I'm hopeful.
I liked it too. It's just I really didn't like the parts whenever they tried to show Clover, except for like the beginning stuff where it seemed like Clover was just attacking, kind of like in Cloverfield. I really just don't like this ending. This ending to me is just like.
Do you think? Here's the thing. Now, we haven't gotten what we really want with Cloverfield, different things, right? Is he going to bend J.J. Abrams and give people what they want? Like, is he going to do like a direct sequel to Cloverfield, or like just enough with this new? I mean, yes, it's a universe now, but could you actually like continue, or are you gonna have people make movies and say that's Cloverfield? Because here's the thing: if they're going to do that. I say that's Cloverfield. I won't like that because I want a movie to be actually,
But this is the thing though. Like J.J. Abrams didn't make this movie. Like there was another director. There was a completely separate director.
But he
who made
part
this
of
movie.
It, though, right?
He was the producer, and I just feel like somewhere along the line they were like, you know what, we're gonna make this a Cloverfield movie.
And we're gonna call it Cloverfield Station, whatever.
Yeah. Because this is my thing, and this is why I'm so like disappointed with this movie.
Okay.
And it's because Clover was in it. I know that sounds weird, but
I love that too, that he was in it. That's weird.
J.J. Abrams' original intention with Cloverfield was he said he wanted to make a monster in the vein of Godzilla for America.
Right.
He wanted America to have a monster that was like Godzilla. That like, yeah, that's the one from America.
Clover, right.
The first movie didn't do that. This one didn't do that.
Right.
And now Cloverfield is just becoming this name that they're going to put on movies and be like, yeah.
Well, isn't
Cloverfield.
Isn't it like George Lucas? Like, we had the original, we had Star Wars, New Hope, Empire and Jedi, right? And he was always like, I would want to do this from the prequels, and then he actually did it, but he didn't do it the way we thought. Like, he changed a lot of things. Like, we never knew that.
But like he still told the story of Anakin Skywalker, though.
Right, but we didn't know that he became evil because of Padme. Like, because he wanted to save Padme.
But this is the thing. This would be like if George Lucas made, 4, 5, and 6. Then he said, I want to tell Anakin Skywalker's story. And then he makes episode 1. And then episodes 2 and 3 are about, like, some other guy.
Right.
And it's like, wait, what about Anakin? Like, forget him.
Right.
And it's like, and then he shows up at the end of the third one. And you're like, was that Anakin? And it's like, no, that's someone else, but it's like Anakin.
Right.
And it's like, what?
They're confusing the crap out of people. Right. Cloverfield's just a mess. I mean.
It is. And this is why I was like, at the end of 10 Cloverfield Lane, there should have been a bunch of dead Clover carcasses instead of aliens.
Right.
That way it would have been like, oh, there was more than one.
Right.
But with
and I like
this
the last
one,
movie
it's
too.
just like they went for like a cheap jump scare. And I was like, okay.
All right, so let me ask you a question now. Netflix purchased this one. Does that mean they purchased the next one too?
I guess it's possible.
Like, they said, just give us 3 and 4. So now, we don't know Cloverfield. I mean, obviously, Cloverfield can't be in the movies anymore because they said Netflix original. So that would mean that any Cloverfield that comes out is going to be on Netflix. Because how could you have a Netflix original and then take it away from them? So they probably permanently got Cloverfield as a home now in Netflix. Because it's never been done with Netflix yet that they would create something with, like, say, original and then it'd be off their thing. I mean, I don't know.
You know what it could be? And I was thinking about this as I was driving to work today. It could be that every other Cloverfield movie is going to be, like, connected to... Well, they're all going to be connected, but every other Cloverfield movie is somehow going to revert back to Clover.
Right.
But the ones before that are going to be separate stories. So you think about it. It's like Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Right.
The Cloverfield Paradox, and then whatever Overlord / Cloverfield 4 is about.
Now, there's only 4. There's no more after that so far.
Right now.
That we know of.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. Not only is this Netflix deal to benefit Netflix, but to do this, Netflix will finance a Cloverfield movie.
I would assume so.
So this basically strengthens and green-lights Cloverfield 5.
Well, no, it doesn't right now, because right now it's not doing well at all.
Well, it just came out yesterday. We have to.
Yeah, I know, but there were
like
critics who saw this beforehand.
Yes, but but here's the thing. It's one thing if everybody hates it, but what's the viewership going to be? Because they're going to make money based on people watching it, no?
It's probably going to be very high, but the issue is, are you going to get people back for the next one after they're like, I
think so.
With this one.
You don't think so? I think after this, people would definitely watch the next one.
I don't think so.
Really? But it's the next one is just not, it's just zombies in World War II, right? Because of the Cloverfield effect, right? I mean,
again, we don't know. We don't even, listen, we don't even know if 10 Cloverfield Lane was connected to this. As far as we know, it's just speculation right now.
Right, everything's speculation.
Which is,
right?
which is really weird, but...
Right. Yeah. I don't know. All I know is if a movie moves me like this one did, and I like it, I like it. You know, it's like, I'm glad I liked it and I loved it and it was great. But I'm actually very hopeful that they're going to do the right thing. Because I feel that if Netflix invested a lot of money into this deal, they're going to be making Cloverfield movies. They're going to have a say and say, look, we need to explain this. You know, there's got to be some type of deal with them where they're going to be like, look, we can't just put these movies out that are standalone. You're building a universe. We have to explain things. So I'm very hopeful that this will be explained and fixed. Because if Netflix didn't sign up with them, right, I would think it would never get explained. Because look how long from Cloverfield 1 to 10 Cloverfield Lane, right? Long time that movie came out, and it wasn't even connected anywhere. But I don't know. We'll see, though, dude. I'm hoping, but I could be wrong too. So, all right. I wanted to do a quick other cast with you before wrestling starts. Maybe 5 minutes. You want to do it? Okay. Thank you. All right. Take care. Bye for now.